What's up? What's up? What's up? So I'm gonna finish out this book right here. You got it, Anacalypsis Volume 2, an attempt to draw aside the veil of the Saitic, ISIS, or an inquiry into the origin of languages, nations, and religions. Now, this book is thick. I'm telling you, this book is thick. And I have a lot of tabs on it. That's why it's part two. Like it's it's a lot of tabs. And the only reason why is because I'm trying to soak up as much information as I can. I spent a good amount of time in some live discussions yesterday. It's pretty funny because I can always strike somebody's emotion about what I share. And the first tab that I'm about to go through is actually going to share that because I always come into the place with what I've actually read, researched, and, you know, annotated in my own library, right? Like these are a lot of tabs. Like there's a lot of tabs. So you see these tabs right here. This is the stuff that I know. Okay. This is the stuff that I know that I can go back and reference to whenever I need to because I know where my information comes from. I'm not somebody that's going to say, oh, yeah, go do your own research. I used to say that all the time. I used to always be like, go do your own research and, you'll see. But I forgot that, doing your own research can, lead you down the wrong path at least, or, give you the incorrect information. Hold on, let me see. Let me bring this up real quick. Okay, there we go. So, what I want to do right now is just so everybody gets in here and they can get comfortable in doing what they're doing and so on and so forth. We get more people in before I start. I'm going to go ahead and present a video. So what I like to do is, and this is what I'm doing now, is I'm traveling around the Americas. When I say the Americas, I mean the Americas. And I'm doing it little by little. And I'm trying to go to every museum that I possibly can and every sacred site that I possibly can and speak to the individuals that's around there. I'm not just reading books. I'm trying to be a person that goes on the ground and actually does the work. So what I'm going to do, hopefully this works, to share audio, share a tab. So let me see. So, I'm going to see. That's the tab. That's that. Let's see. Maybe I won't be able to share it. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, it's already on my website, but I just wanted to, have something real quick so people can check out. If not, I'll just go straight to the ancient text. But let me bring this up on my phone real quick because I know I'm live. I can see if it's listening and working for itself. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Wait a minute. How do I get back to that? There we go. Nah, it's not working. It's not working. So I'm not going to trip about it. I got to figure out how to work that in somehow. So I'm just going to go straight to the text. So I just recently put out a new article. I was trying to give an example of what I do. That was Fort McAllister. It's a state park here in Georgia. Very good place to visit. I've also went to Fort Pulaski, which I'm about to do an article on in the future. But because I couldn't get that up and going, that's fine. But let's go ahead and start with the first one. So when I was saying that when I go into these places, and most people talk about the same stuff over and over again, that these tabs is stuff that most people don't talk about. I already know what everybody says. We've heard it millions of times. Now let's talk about something different. Let's change the subject. So when I say individuals believe that Buddha and Jesus were one and the same, I'm not saying it because I feel that as an opinion. I'm saying that because somebody, Godfrey Higgins, in 1833, which published his book in 1836, gave me that knowledge. Now, whether it's fact over fiction, right or wrong, I don't care. I'm just telling you what I know, and I'm just asking you for more information. Prove me wrong is basically all I'm asking. Just tell me something that I'm wrong at, and we can go from there. But it says right here, it says Jesus was a Natzir, and I'm going to spell it Natzir, or flower of Nazareth. But the place where it grew was in Carmel, in the garden of God. Okay. Of this, more presently, Buddha was crucified for robbing the garden of a flower. This perhaps we may understand by and by. The union of the mythos and numeral symbolic alphabet, I think, can alone explain why the wood or grove in which the god were worshipped, the niches or stalls in which they were placed, and the groups of stars into which they were changed, should all have the same name, stall. So I thought that was interesting because he says in our Bibles, we everywhere find the writers reappropriating the duration of groves or trees which are ordered to be cut down and burnt. Just like back in the old days, you can go look at the Nazi regime when they was burning books. So, trees were considered having certain types of knowledge on them. So that's kind of interesting to me because of the information that I know. Let's go to the next tab because we're gonna finish this book out. Like I said, says, and like I said, I don't go back and read this before I do these live events. What I like to do is, like I said, I like to read different books, and I like to share what I've read from these books, and this helps me refresh my memory because I read a lot. I literally read a lot, and I try to share and remember all the stuff that I've read. I know when you get into these spaces and all this other stuff, on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Clubhouse and all this, that, and the third, these individuals will say something and you ask them for sources, and it's always like, go do your own research. Well, shit, hell, I'm giving you the research. I'm literally telling you what to read. I'm literally telling you, hey, if you want more information, read this information. It's so funny because people have told me that I'm Afrocentric. I had Bruce Fitton from the dude from Ancient Aliens who told me I'm Afrocentric, and he don't even know who the hell Godfrey Higgins is. Godfrey Higgins doesn't believe that everything happened in Africa. He literally says that man came from Asia. The only reason why I find him as my favorite author and historian is not because what he says only, it's because a whole bunch of things, meaning that he spent 6 to 10 hours a day. Now, I know in 1833 or in the 1900s, at least, that's not hard. There wasn't television and all these distractions. So 6 to 10 hours a day of researching, reading, and so on and so forth is different. But I can tell you, I do 6 to 10 hours of reading and researching in today's format in 2025 and have been doing it for years. And I can tell you that's harder than many people can do. How can you can't spend all your time doing one thing. You have to balance out your time, right? And there's no way there's enough time to do everything that you want to do. So you have to pick and choose, and you have to go to the right sources. Don't go down the rabbit holes that lead to nothing. Go to the rabbit hole that leads you to the motherfucking rabbit so you can have something to eat that day, right? Don't be stupid. So that's why I try to do is try to go to the origins of stuff and try to, present the information that I know. And so that's why I read exactly what I've read from the information. And I try to say, hey, look, this is what I've learned. So I'm giving you what the actual information is and not my personal opinion. Okay. Because if you're telling me that you've read something, I want to read the same thing that you've read. Only because I want to understand what the person was saying in the paragraph before, right? You're only sharing a snippet of what we're doing. I only share a snippet. That's why I wish I could take these books and read them online while I'm reading, while I'm reading them personally, because that way there wouldn't be no ifs and buts about it. But guess what? You got to do? You got to go and do your due diligence. So let's go on to the next tab. Thrace, that's what it says, Thrace, were probably Buddhists under some corrupted form, perhaps Christians of St. Thomas. Now I'm going to say this again. When I sit here and say that the Buddhists and Christians has a relationship, I'm not saying that because I think my opinion says that. I'm saying that because that's what I learned from reading. Prove me wrong. That's all I'm asking. So I'm gonna say this one more time, Thrace. We're probably Buddhists under some corrupted form, perhaps Christians of St. Thomas. Now, knowledge is power. Now, I know that I have that in my Rolodex in my brain. So when people ask questions and say, hey, Rebirth, do you think the Buddhists and Christians have something in common? I say, man, you know what? Look, man, I read this book from Godfrey Higgins, like Anacalypsis V2, and it literally says perhaps those Christians were of St. Thomas. And they'll be like, wow, man, can you show me that? It's already online. Come on. That's all I'm trying to tell you, is that I'm able to show you what I've learned. I'm not telling you whether I believe it or not. Ask me a personal opinion. We'll go from there. Straight up. We'll go straight to that point right there. So we're going to go to the next tab. In a similar manner, kings and dynasties, pharaohs, for example, and it's in parentheses, came to have the names of gods. Now I'm going to say that one more time. Gods, kings. Okay, listen to me. In a similar manner, kings and dynasties, pharaohs, for example, he uses Egypt. Guess where Egypt's at? In Africa. So we ain't even got to argue if they African or not, right? African pharaohs, for example, came to have the names of gods. So these men became deities or gods. Knowledge is power. Let's keep going. As these effects arose by degrees without formal record of their origin, it was soon lost. This is not a theory, but fact. It's similar to what we say every day. Many religion rites arose in the same way. For example, fasting. What could fasting a merit? That's the question. When foolish men quarreled, as we are told by all Indian histories, that they did quarrel about the prevalence of the male over the female generative power in nature. The female was reappropriated by the male devotee, and it became a merit to refrain from the intercourse with the sinful creature. Now, I'm not going to say that again. Y'all can just go back and replay that part. But if you was paying attention, that's crazy. The first Chinese letters were found of right lines and were called Yukim and Yekim. Yukim is spelled Ukim, and Yekim is Yekim. This is the emphatic article of Sakis 1 in the HKM wisdom letters of the wisdom of IE. Now, I already talked about wisdom when we did part 1 and so on and so forth. Now, there's a lot of individuals that blocked me and don't like the information I share because they don't think that my information is accurate. Well, I actually have a book that's from the Sumerians and the Chinese Shang Dynasty, where the pictographic script is one and the same. Okay. I also learned this from Godfrey Higgins. That's what made me find the correlation, or I can say similarities with the Chinese and Sumerian pictographic script. And I found it. There's actually a book on it. I mean, I posted it before. You know what I'm saying? I don't, anybody that wants to just look up Chinese and Sumerian, you're going to find the book. You know what I'm saying? It's actually, you can find it actually through Forgotten History. I think it is. They give a lot of free books out. So information that I'm passing is not information that I think personally is right or wrong. I'm just telling you what somebody else researched. You know, I don't have time to argue with you about the fact that, you know, this person is right or wrong. I'm just telling you what I've read and what I've researched. So if you're Chinese like V, who got upset and blocked me because I told them about this actual information about what they're talking about, giving them information that they didn't know, they got upset and didn't like it because guess what? They ain't researched. How the hell you going to be so, if you say you're an expert in something, then you should know the whole expertise of everything. That means you know that Chinese and Sumerians have the same goddamn pictographic script in some ways, or I should say more accurately, because pictographic script can be, you know, depicted on the type of style that you draw, right? Everybody draws a man differently. That's not, I shouldn't even argue that part. Let's just say the writing system. That's what I wanted to get to. But let's get to the next one. Jesus and Mohammed. I'm gonna say this again because it's not me saying it. This is what Godfrey Higgins is saying. When he wrote this in 1833, you know, published in 1836, he says Jesus and Mohammed were philosophers, preachers of wisdom and morality to their countrymen. And like Socrates and Pythagoras, Neither of them left a single word of writing behind them. Prove me wrong. Which one of them wrote anything personally, like a diary? Let's just keep it moving. I have often before observed that the most ancient historians of all nations speak of a primeval and sacred language, which in their time was lost. Of course, we don't even have to go to Pythagoras or anybody that talks about this stuff. All you got to do is read where the Tower of Babel was, the idea of spreading out everybody and creating different languages. Let's keep it going. I must now beg my reader to refer to volume 1. Okay, he gives you volume 1. Go back to his first book, page 346, 330, 127, 653, 746, and 763. So that means he's telling you to go back and read what he said before in the past, just in case you didn't have the first book. But if you want more information, you need to go reference that. So he says, and consider the theory which I have proposed for the origin of the cycles and the sacred numbers. Then next to IBIT, and then he gives you some more pages, 216, 2021, 2023, 2024, 2030, 499, 500, and 590. And consider how this is strengthened by monograms and the use of the cross. X marks the spot. I talk about that all the time. Ancient Hebrew text and the records of all the sacred numbers, the number of the beast expected, and the number of the pillars in the respected temples. And this done when he account for and support one another. I defy him to doubt the truth of what I assert, that I have discovered and explained nearly the whole sacred of the ancient mythology, that I have penetrated to the very inmost recesses and laid upon the most secluded of the mysteries of the temples. Now you can take that how you want to. I don't know how you want to roll with that. Let me just do another quick check because I'm the only one that's doing this. I know you should be like, yeah, you're working it, blah blah blah. Everybody talking. Yeah, let's see how this shit works. I don't like how this audio be playing sometimes. Yeah, there we go. So let's go. All right, look, next tab. Noah is said to have had a fourth son born to him called Inachus, Inachus. This is Bacchus, Bacchus. Then it gives you the Greek version, I believe. And then it says the black or Ethiopian. That is the black or Ethiopian Jin or Jan or Inus. Now, a lot of people talk about Jins and all these other stuff and stuff like that. But this man is literally saying that all that has to do with Ethiopians. So when everything has to do with black, it looks like a negative thing. I don't know why. You go look at my last article that I wrote. You know what I'm saying? Man, look. For some reason, people dislike the color black, and I don't know why. It's crazy. But in 1833, Godfrey Higgins, let me go back to that. He says, Noah is said to have a fourth son to him called Inachus. This is Bacchus. Then it goes into Greek. And then it says, after that, it goes in a dash, meaning like dash from what he says in the Greek. And then it says the black or Ethiopian. So basically the man was black Ethiopian. So he came from Ethiopia. Okay. It's not me saying that. That's what Godfrey Higgins saying that. When people say that I'm Afrocentric, how in the hell am I Afrocentric? It's a man, if a white man is teaching me something. Come on, man. Pick better words, Bruce Fenton. Pick a better word, brother. Because you damn stupid. But anyway. Once come and you know what's so crazy? I'm gonna bring this up, man. I read his book, and I read anybody's book. This dude literally says there's no ancestors in Africa before the people of 200,000 years. How ignorant and stupid is that? And then he gets mad that Forbes took his article down because anybody that researches what the hell you said just would tell you that you was an idiot. But Bruce Fenton, you keep doing what you want to do because you got a narrative to create. Fucking idiot. But anyway, Van Kennedy says Vela is derived from Vidati. Contracted with Ready. He knows a whence comes Vidya, and I can't really actually read it because it's fine print. Look how small this print is. Like this print is small. I mean, I know it's blurry on there, of course, but I can't read what that word says. And it looks like learning, but it says the next word is Vivivan, and somebody might be knowledgeable on this, but it's Vidivan, and it's Vidivan. So whoever is that, and it's basically a learned man, and that's what it means. I'm not sure why I actually tabbed that, but for the most part, I could probably say that Vidivan is another word for a learned man, which I don't know why I marked it, but I thought that maybe at the time I thought that was interesting. Let's go to the next tab. Let's see. Oh, snap. Okay, the Egyptians used it in embalming their dead. So this is talking about, let's see, let me go before that. All right, let me start right here. And this actually starts in Greek, and then the word is amor. And this is a ama, A-M-A, which A-M-A aspired is C-A-M-A. Now, I don't know if anybody knows what that means, but let's just go to this. Thus, Venus and Cupid, or Deephook, I guess that's Greek, that is the virgin mother and child are the same. So I think this is talking about Jesus and the Virgin Mary, because it says these are the black Madonnas and Bambinos of Italy. So anybody that knows what the black Madonnas is, that's actually the Virgin Mary in the African cultural way of holding their child. And there's many depictions of this, holding it near the breast and so on and so forth. But Black Madonna is literally the Virgin Mary. And that's why some people believe that Jesus was black, because his mother was black. But using the word black and white, that is not how Africans identify themselves, okay? Let alone Mesopotamians. They don't identify themselves by their skin color. That's a European transatlantic slave trade theory, or theory, I shouldn't say theory, word. Literally, that's when it comes from, because it was a way to identify, white skinned versus and white skin is not even white. I mean, shit. Have you ever seen somebody walk around this fucking white? No. Have you ever seen anybody this black? I mean, no. I mean, the dark, if you look at the definition of black, it's literally dark, light brown to dark brown. And then you have mulattoes, which are individuals who are, I would be considered mulatto because my mom is German and my father is African American. And I'm mixed. So that's what would consider me a mulatto. My hair, if I cut my hair off, you wouldn't be able to really tell the difference, because Africa is the most genetically diverse continent on this planet. That's why I say Bruce Fenton is stupid on a lot of stuff that he says. And I'm going to call people out all the time, whether you block me or not. I'm going to let you know that you're dumb, because what you're saying is stupid. Read the book and I can break it apart. I can break the book apart. I've read the information. Half the people that probably agree with him probably ain't read the book, let alone don't even know who Dr. Keith Chang is, who is the founder of SLC 2485, which I've had the luxury, who won peer reviewed my article, and two, I've had a podcast discussion with the man. So I know what I'm talking about based off of genetics, okay? Based off the man who is the founder of this, not who you think who did their counter argument or what he is. You ain't got to counter argue him. He spoke to me, a nobody. I asked him, hey, would you be willing to discuss SLC 2485 to me, so I can understand it better? I'm a nobody. This man has been on Good Morning America and all kinds of stuff. It's respected, but he spoke to a nobody because he wanted to educate me. Now I accepted that. Now I'm educating other people. Now it's up to you whether you want to take your ignorance to put it to the side, or whether you want to take it and actually do something with it. If you want to prove that, people migrated to Africa, guess what? You're not proving that, Bruce Fenn, because that's actually in the ancient text. You're stupid. Just think about the Dravidians. Oh, I'm sorry. You probably don't know who they are because you don't like to do that type of research. But let's keep it going. Let's go to the next tab. I'm tired of hitting these cats up all the time. This book of Ben Wasa is as good evidence of the fact as can be expected in all circumstances considered. It is really good evidence. The attempt to monopolize knowledge seems to have been one of the most predominant passions in all ages, and it is easily to account for, as knowledge is power. I always say that knowledge is power. And monopoly on this money turned into monetization. It's all about who sounds the sweetest, who gives you the feel good feeling, you know what I'm saying? The person that says, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? This person makes me feel good about myself, so I'm gonna follow him. Man, fuck all that. Look, hey, knowledge don't give a damn about what you gotta feel. Okay. Facts don't care about what you gotta feel. It's about the knowledge. Like I said, I've been called Afrocentric so many times, and my favorite author and historian is Godfrey Higgins. And if you know anything about that, that would be the dumbest mistake that you could say about somebody, because obviously you don't have the knowledge to even counter my arguments, let alone who I study, research, and bring to the table. But let's keep it going to the next motherfucker. The observation is very important. It shows the character, which shows, I'm sorry, let me start that over. The observation is very important. It shows the character which those persons had in his time. They were like the Freemasons of the present day. They became divided into different bodies, as we have Masons, Rosicrucians, Templars, and so on. So basically, the Freemasonry people are who they consider Freemasons. That's all up into titles at that point, because guess what? Like he just said, Templars and all these other individuals. So Freemasons are just not the Masons are just not what group of individuals. Just like Christianity, you have multiple different sections or in denominations of Christianity. Yes, they follow Christ, but they have different ways that they follow Christ, which gives them different ways of laws and understandings and what they follow and abide by, right? This is knowledge is power. This is not me saying it. This is just what is in the research. I'm trying to bring it to the table. If you like it, you like it. Hey, if you're a vegetarian, take your ass to a vegetarian spot. But I'm gonna give you the meat and potatoes because I'm gonna give you everything. A perfect Mason, if such could be, must be a perfect Buddhist. Okay. And quaintly more happy. A perfect Mason, if such could be, must be a perfect Buddhist. A perfect Jew, a perfect Christian, a perfect Mohammedan. I'm gonna say that one more time. And I'm actually going back a little more because this is what caught my eye, and I know you kind of confused. Let's start right here. All this is strictly Masonic. All right. I trust I am not improperly betraying the secrets of the craft of the Megalister Mandorium when I state that the designed effect of all Masonic initiation is to render a man more virtuous, consequently more happy. Okay. A person, let me step back, a perfect Mason, I said I put person and Mason together. A perfect Mason, if such could be, must be a perfect Buddhist, a perfect Jew, a perfect Christian, a perfect Mohammedan. Now, how in the hell do you become a perfect any of that? You got to read the ancient text. If you ain't read the Quran, if you ain't read the Indus Valley civilization text, like the all the other text, the Rig Veda, Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Vedas, and all this other stuff, the I Ching, so on and so forth. If you haven't read the Christian Bible, the Hebrew Bible, and all these other texts, how are you going to be perfect any of that? If you only read one of them and barely the front to cover, then how are you knowledgeable on any of that? Let me tell you something. When you read a book, it could be in the middle. And guess where the explanation can be? The last page. So if you ain't got to the last page, then what do you really know? Don't get mad at me because you didn't know. Get mad at yourself. That knowledge is power. And I'm trying to tell y'all that I'm doing what I can do to share it. You ain't got to take me serious. Shit, do the research and take the claim for yourself. Hell, if you got the followers that you use and you didn't use the information that I have, that's going to boost it up a lot more. The only problem is motherfuckers going to be like, yo, where the origins of this shit coming? And then when I see it, you definitely going to know that I'm going to call you out because you ain't giving credit. But let's put it like this. The Arabians assert that there are two races of men in Arabia. Let me say that one more time. In 1833, Godfrey Higgins wrote that the Arabian assert that there are two races of men in Arabia. This seems probable. I believe in every country there will be found at least two races of men. Now he says two races of men. This is where we get to the information. I believe when Plato says there was an original race of men drowned by the flood who had a language long since lost, he alluded in fact to such a people as those Helotes and Lacedaemonian, who were the remains of a race drowned by the flood, but who were the original, a little better than barbarian or became so in consequence of that catastrophe. It cannot be denied that the languages of the Chaldeans, of the Jews, and of Job, that is Arabians, were most closely connected dialects of one language. The Arabic of Job is in the Jewish canon for Hebrew. Parkhurst lexicon serves at once for the Hebrew, the Chaldee, and the Arabic of Job. Now, all the nomad tribes of Africa and Asia have a language called Arabic, and these tribes, from the peculiarity of their habits of life, have probably never had a foreign language imposed upon them, a fact which can be stated of scarcely in other nations. In South India, the lowest class, this is what Godfrey Higgins says, not the paras or outcasts of the Brahmins, but what of Colonel Briggs calls the Aborigines are the most ancient. They have no distinction of caste. Caste is like classifications of different individuals, and having to do with the present Brahmin religion. After them come the Brahmins from North India, the same people whom Colonel Briggs calls Aborigines, may be discovered in ancient Syria, in Greece, in the Helots just mentioned, in Italy and Germany, and so on. The purity of blood, as I may call it, that the Arabs of the deserts have retained their own language. In this, they will be much assisted wherever Muhammadan prevail by having the standard Quran to keep the language fixed. I believe, Godfrey Higgins, no Englishman who is a good Arabic scholar and who is a quite master of the Chaldee alphabet would have much difficulty in translating Hebrew or Chaldee into English. Boy, knowledge is power, and some people ain't with it. Some people ain't with it, man. Some people ain't with it. The names of Buddha, Arhan, Moon, Mahiman were all well known to the ancient Celts. The first month of the Egyptians, August, was called Thoth in honor of the god. The 1st of August in Old English is called the day of Latat. That is the Buddha. Man, I be talking about this and people be shutting the shit, man. I'm telling y'all just don't know. The salmon, or Samona, or Samanat, and I know probably butchered this up, and that's probably why some people get mad, but I definitely say I can spell it, is found in Ireland. In salmon, Samhan, and Shamhina. Valency says, this is the individual, in the Old Irish English language, Buddha, Booth, both means the sun, fire, and the universe. Man, come on. I be talking about this shit so much in these spaces, people don't just be knowing. The Rosicrucians of Germany are quite ignorant of their origin, but by tradition, they suppose themselves descendants of the ancient Egyptians, Chaldeans, Magi, and Gymnosophists. And this is probably true. Godfrey Higgins wrote this in 1833. Now, when you look at the haplogroups of all those individuals, guess what the oldest haplogroup is? Motherfuckers is the Ethiopians. I can't help it, man. When you put science and knowledge that's from 1830, and this dude is not Afrocentric. He don't think everything came from Africa. He says Ethiopians, but this is what he also says. He believes that the Dravidians came into Africa, and the Dravidians and the Africans are one and the same, but he believes the Dravidians came first in so many different ways. So that's why I say all you gotta do is just read his books. How can I be Afrocentric? If I was Afrocentric, I'll find somebody that think everything came from Africa. But damn, you don't know who the fuck Godfrey Higgins is. You might want to shut the fuck up for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep it going. The circumstance of the Quran being called OM, and the observation respecting the vote of Mohammedan, connecting it with the Dome Pek, with the duomus of Italian churches, and with the dome of Cupola and at Eleusis, under which the mysteries or ceremonies which Clement says were copied from Jerusalem were celebrated, and the title of Dominus given to the archpriest or arch, I don't know how to say it, so I'm just spell it Archierist, make me suspect that the word pontifex is only a translation of the word dom. I don't know why I found that interesting, because I don't even understand it now. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. And now I come to the origin of chivalry. Oh yeah, we all know about chivalry. This is pretty interesting. I remember this, which I think is found to be adoration of Freya. We all know who Freya is, the third person of Scandinavian Trinity, the female generative power, the creator and destroyer, the Kali of India. From Freya, and the character of Kali in the day dedicated to her, Iron and Romish Friday became a day of misery, of fasting and humiliation, as the Sunday or day of the sun was a day of rejoicing. But from this lady and her good character came our chivalry, exhibited in devotion to the female sex, devotion, as Mr. Mallet has shown, existed from a very remote time with northern Scandinavians. Among the people, this many other customs were retained, whilst Britain, during the stay of Romans, they were in a kind of abeyance. Now, let me jump to this. In the same manner, all the Saxon customs and names I have exhibited above were easily renewed. Chivalry did not arise, it rose again. In those times, it flourished perhaps the most when the gallant but unfortunate Boadicea led her knights, 80,000 in number, to the combat. Then it was before the brave and fallen before the city of Isor was reduced that the chivalry took its rise. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to read the whole thing of that, but I ain't got time for that. I just probably need to go back and do that myself. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Nay, even much later times, we find in the Arabic historians that Ashir ibn Babek, who was king of Persia in the 3rd century of Christianity, was the author of play which we call Tables, in which he appointed 12 houses or areolae to correspond to the 12 months of the year and 30 calculi or tableman to answer so many days and months. Okay, so yeah, 30 days. Yeah. That just gives us the calendar, basically. Now, if we make but a very small allowance for the old periods before Christ, and suppose that one with another it has revolved in 574, and I don't know what I want to say the fraction is half years, we shall find that 7 such periods amount to 4,028 years, exactly according to the number since the deluge. This is so remarkable an observation and so surprising that it would deserve a particular demonstration from the original authors themselves. Let's go to the next one. Man, knowledge is power. Let's keep going. The flood of Noah is stated by Usher in the Hebrew version to have taken place in the year BC 2348. So the flood, according to Godfrey Higgins in his research, started around 2348 in BC. This added to AD 1680 gives 4028, the number required for the last appearance of the comet. Now, I apprehend this consequence is of such a nature as to raise the highest probability of the influence of that comet is causing the flood. Well, I'm about to hit y'all with some knowledge in a second. But there are several other circumstances relating to the matter of the great importance. Now, let me put this like this. Let me put this down for a second. Most of y'all know that I don't follow that bullshit that Zechariah says when he talks about planet Nibiru orbiting the sun every 3,600 years and it caused catastrophe on planet Earth. The only reason why is because there is no actual cylinder cell that actually says that. There is actually no cuneiform tablet that actually says that. Now, I have presented so many times on my social media accounts that these gods, including Enki, came from the depths of the sea. Now, I know the correlation of water being in the universe and so on and so forth, but the depiction of Enki is fish. So that would tell me that he came from water that we understand, which is where fish live. If you're going to talk about the sky, I would expect a different depiction. Maybe a bird or so on and so forth. And we have those depictions, but let's get back to the point. It's interesting to me that I can read from Godfrey Higgins, and he says that 2348 BC is where the flood started. Now, I'm not sure in 100% on these dates. I don't know how he came up to it. He used different sources, of course, but I'm not sure what is the absolute, groundbreaking information that he used for his source. But I will say this. Every civilization started by a body of water. So that means that every civilization, whether it happens, when they started or thousands of years later, there will be a flood that will affect the individuals there. And those individuals will need to do things based on survival for that area, whatever it may be. So that mythology to me about Noah and the flood is that happens. There isn't a one flood story. So many people will say that the whole entire world flooded. Um, maybe for the individuals that were uh, considered below that water line. So when more water when more ice caps melted, more islands were destroyed and land was destroyed. But that doesn't mean that everything was destroyed. We're just where we're at right now. So this is interesting to me, and I like it because it's the Hebrew version. He goes into his information. And let me see. Let me go forward a little bit. Okay, so the comet idea. Okay, so I understand that Zechariah Sitchin says that the planet Nibiru orbits our sun or orbits the sun every 3,600 years, and it causes catastrophe. Now, I've read his book in 1976, The 12th Planet, and I understand what he's saying. The only problem is that I need something that says that it was actually a planet. Now, Godfrey Higgins says a comet happened around that time frame. Every 3,600 years to 4,028 years. That's a good give or take estimate, right? So maybe a comet would come around that time. I've read a book from Ptolemy's, the Almagest. Anybody that read that book is nothing but straight mathematics. It literally tells you everything that happens in the sky, and everything that we know about our land can be found through his book Ptolemy, and also geography. That's where we get maps from. You can thank Google Earth and the first individual who created Google Earth, or the directions on Google directions, or anything. You can count that to them following what Ptolemy said in his books. I have the books. I shared them. I presented them. So it's not me saying it. It's what's actually in the text. Like I said, and I hate to say it's what's actually in the text, because two different people will have two different translations. You know what I'm saying? Samuel Noah Kramer has his translations, and Zechariah Sitchin has his translations. Well, there are people like Envy who have blocked me. I talk a lot of people about blocking because they feel like they got to create an editor to make that money. And they're trying to fool people, and I don't understand why they're trying to fool people, because the information out there, but the people are being fooled. They're susceptible because they don't have enough time to do their own research. But there are more people who know about Zechariah Sitchin and little people know about Samuel Noah Kramer. Well, Samuel Noah Kramer was actually the Sumerologist. The title Sumerologist was actually created for him because he knew his shit, right? So he's actually the guy that you want to know. And he was able to prove what he said. Like if you ever read his books, he could tell you the cuneiform tablet identifiers. He can tell you all this other stuff. And everybody that followed him after that learned the language themselves, because they have books out there to teach you how to read this language. It's not hard. You can learn this language just as much as you want to learn Japanese or Chinese. It's not hard. It's just up to you doing it. But the only problem Zechariah Sitchin had was that he wasn't able to prove what he said. He brought up cylinder cell VA243, and I talk about that all the time. And I tell you, that has more to do with German than it has to do with planet Nibiru. And if you fight me on trying to tell me that I'm wrong on that, just go look at the inscriptions on it. I've presented it so many different times. So it's not me arguing or trying to tell you what is facts over fiction. I'm just telling you, yo, if I can take a translation of Japanese, if somebody writes something in Japanese online, I can take it, copy, paste it, and put it in Google Translation and see what the fuck they said. I should be able to do that with the cuneiform tablets. Yeah, maybe they don't have the AI rendition to do all that right now, but definitely there's books to do it. And you can, and guess what? The Sumerians started off with pictographic script. So if you say anything Sumerian, you're going to have to show me the pictographic script. That's not me. That's just what I know. But let's keep it going. This is about Caesar, Alexander, Genghis Khan, Akbar, Napoleon, Supreme Pontiff, races of man, and then it literally says black gods, Trinitarian, doctrine of Genesis, Jewish polity, priesthood, supreme priesthood. Now, this is why I say, people, man, don't ever put me in a category. Don't ever put me in a motherfucking category. I know too much to be put in a category. This is a book from 1833 during the slave times. Okay. My ancestors wasn't able to read this book when this book was first published in 1836, meaning that my African ancestors from Nigeria was able to go to the library and pick up this book and read it. Okay. This is what it says in here. You can go read it for yourself. I don't have to lie. Buy the book and prove me wrong. That's all I'm telling you. But I'm telling you, my ancestors weren't allowed to read this. And when my ancestors was able to read that Godfrey Higgins in 1833 wrote and published in his book in 1836 that there were black gods. You know, I grew up in the town. I'm from Georgia, man. The town that I grew up, the first thing they taught me about black history was how it started with slavery. They didn't teach me about the black gods and how they were kings and queens and how they manufactured and created so much of our history that it's amazing. Nah, all I was taught about was how they was history. So it's important to know that this chapter is about that. So everything which I have said respecting the XPE or crest, this is Godfrey Higgins saying that, is confirmed by an observation of Bergham's in the Christian antiquities. Hold on for a second. Had to clear my throat. Let's see in my backup. Yeah. Okay, it would be surprising. Let me start it over. Everything which I have said respecting the XPE, I guess this is in Greek, or crest, is confirmed by observation of Bigham's in his Christian antiquities that the Christians were not called by that name. Still, time of Ambrose, they were probably or previously called Christ anointed. Oh man, I don't know where that came from. I left my drink on the counter. That's perfect timing. Give me something to drink. So let's do this because I got to show to my homie. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on. Show my love to my homie. Lil Vibe. You gotta play his music real quick. Let's bring that up. I'm gonna bring on my Spotify. So we're gonna play his music real quick. Support him. He has great music. My favorite song is Ambitions right now, but we're gonna play. Let's see. Let's pick a song. Let's pick a different song. Let's see. Yo, Lil Vibe, if you there, what song should we pair? I'll give you a few seconds to answer. Which song should we play? Let's see. Let's give it a few seconds if he's around. He's usually in here. He always hooks me up and says, yo, the audio is good, 100. Hey, trust me, man. The music that he presents is good, man. It's really cruising music. I'll give him a few more seconds. If he doesn't, let's see. I'll pick a different one. Hey, you know what? Let's go with Invasion. Okay, there you go. Yeah, let's play Invasion. Let's see.
Yeah, here we go. Woo! Back again. Invader like it's him, I am him. Whoa, yeah. Invader like it's him, I am him. I'ma bring a couple niggas, bring your friends. He breaking in the game, now we playing. In the league up with the owners in the stands. With the rocks and gems of cancer from the sand. Always knew that God, he had a bigger plan. Now the world up in the palm, all in our hands. Like that ass, I got us thrown away these pants. She gon' clap it, I'ma have to take a look. Got me looking like I'm staring through a book. Fish tailing in a foreign cabin hook. Peter Pan, always good for the judge. Chooking in the dojo, working on the hooks. Write so fucking much, it's looking like a book. Write it to the paper, written in Jamaica. Ocean views, lip hustle on the haters. Dedication, and I'm sticking to the script. Landed on the island and I purchased ships. Light it up cause I just rolled another spliff. Up and smoking, now I'm jumping off the cliff. Invader like it's him, I am him. I'ma bring a couple niggas, bring your friends. We breaking in the game, now we playing. In the league up with the owners in the stands. With the rocks and gems that came straight from the sand. Always knew that God, he had a bigger plan. Now the world up in the palm, all in our hands. Like that ass, I got us thrown away these bands. Like that ass, I got us thrown away these bands. Taylor, she just wanna be romance. Got us throwing up weighty bands. Fairy Taylor, she just wanna be romance. Yeah. Like that ass, I got us throwing up weighty bands. Fairy Taylor, she just wanna be romance. This chemical just like them white boys from New Jersey. Shout out to that RJC, he put that work in. She gon' clap it like she was my only fan. But I know it's really a part of her plans. And my plans involve stacking the deep ends. So I hit the road and brought all of my friends, yeah. Invader like it's him, I am him. I'ma bring a couple niggas, bring your friends. He breaking in the game, now we playing. In the league up with the owners in the stands. With the Ross and Jens that came straight from the sand. Always knew that God, he had a bigger plan. Now the world up in the palm, all in our hands. Like that ass, I got us throw the weighty pants, yeah. Invader like it's him, I am him, Invader like it's him, I am him, come on. Invader like it's him, I am him, yes sir. Invader like it's him, I am him, yeah. Invader like it's him, I am him. I'ma bring a couple niggas, bring your friends. We breaking in the game, now we playing. In the league up with the owners in the stands. With the Ross and Jens that came straight from the sand. Always knew that God, he had a bigger plan. Now the world up in the palm, all in our hands. Like that ass that got us going away these pants.
Yeah, that shit goes so hard. I ain't even gonna lie. That shit goes so hard, man. Y'all just have no idea. Man, you got to just support people. Let's play a little bit of something else. Just a little bit. We gotta play a little bit more, man. We can't just stop right there. And you know, y'all just don't know. Supporting people don't it ain't hard to support each other. Yo, all these people buying these meme coins and all this other shit, man. Hey, how easy it just to start a motherfucking GoFundMe account just to bring each other together, rather than doing some shit like that. Come on. People be doing everything for monetary gains. Well, let's see. Let's do this.
Going hard for midnight in LA. Pate, yeah. 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 Light it up, man, go and get plays. Okay, yeah. Midnight in LA, let's play. I say, yeah. Got me feeling like sipping 03. Ooh, me, my, yeah. Know they hate to see it rolling straight by. Try to deuce, change the view, ooh. Rooftop got me feeling brand new, blowing new, got a eye. Different camp got me feeling like God. Who are you, who am I? Things I ponder while the clouds roll by. It's a bird, it's a plane. Nah, nigga, it's a whole damn thing in the game, coming through, yeah. Going hard in the paint with the flu. Michael Jordan, I don't score, yeah. Got me ballin' like the Bulls with the horns. Pate, yeah. Going hard for midnight in LA. 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 Pate, yeah. Stack it up, man, it's time to get paid, yeah. Feels due in the sun and the rain. Stay true. Follow through. Ooh. Follow heart and soul, you could never lose. Not a loss. Got a lot to learn from everything you cross in the booth. Speak my truth, yeah. Blowing smoke up to the ceiling in the roof. Got the stars, yeah. Cause men and women came from Venus and from Mars. Dropping bars like the chocolate. They're cream, vanilla, and cheddar. Maybe broccoli. How I'm smelling, yeah. When you approach me, aroma can be like heaven, LA.
Hey, yo, like it says, midnight in LA. This song, the by day is a reference to Egyptian Book of Dead, also known as the Book of Going Forth by Day. Some of y'all just don't know. Information was shared through music. Literally, straight up. People don't know that. And I don't understand how they don't understand that. Like, you know what I'm saying? The music, the repetition, the beats, the drums, the instruments helps you remember. Most people don't know that because they too worried about what the next person tell them. You know what I'm saying? That they too worried about, you know, hey, I'm going to be sounding stupid. Well, god damn it, everything that I say is pretty much stupid. And I'm gonna tell you why, because most people don't like it and it's stupid to them, right? But I don't care because what I read is what I read and what I share is what I share. You can't be mad what I share, you know. But let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. The present royal family of Persia. All right, sit back and chill for a minute. Are of the Kojar tribe of Turks. So let me say that again. The present royal family of Persia are the Kojar tribe of Turks. Now let's see what time frame was this. It doesn't give you a time frame from that, so I'm thinking. Let's see. Okay, yeah. When the time for the millennium arrived, but no appearance of actual arrival could be perceived, it was with the sect of Ali as it was with the sect of the Christians. Their whole system fell into pieces, and they were obliged to avail themselves of such resources as circumstances offered. It appears from a part of Dabistan, translated by Professor Lee and given by him to the Society of Literature, from whom I borrowed it, that the Mohammedans had a succession of 12 imams, and that they were supposed to be yet one remaining in the world, though his residence was unknown. Of the esoteric system, nothing can be made out except merely that there is an esoteric religion, but it seems to have some relation to the first doctrine of the divine idea, according to which the world was formed along with the degradation of the human mind in most Eastern countries. The degradation of the doctrines has kept pace till really in all those countries, unless China be expected. Their doctrines consist of nothing but the most inconceivable nonsense. If it were not for the hope of discovering the origin and nature of the learning of the early races of man, which keeps continually showing itself in little detached parts, all the Eastern learning in the world would not be worth the half hour's trouble of a wise man. But as a means to discover the learning of antiquity, it is worth everything. And by its means, I have no doubt that the secrets of antiquity will one day be all clearly made out. Yo, you know, my brain works so fast. So I actually figured out. What happened? Something happened? Oh, let me check something. It says browser has blocked my screen. I hope I ain't read all that. Let's see. Let me check something real quick. That's crazy. No, it says it's everything's good. Okay. But let me do something real quick. So I figured out actually how to play that McAllister video, and man, my brain works so fucking fast. It's crazy. So I actually know how to do it. So I'm going to play it now because we're going to take a little break from this. And we only have a couple of more tabs left, but I do want to present some stuff to you guys. I know this is going to work. Let me see. No, that's not it. Officially, there we go. I think it's going to work right here. Let's see. Let's see. Hold up. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. Nope. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Let's see. Yeah, that's weird, man. It plays. It just ain't working. So what I did, That's weird because it says share image file. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. If that doesn't work, we're gonna continue. I don't know why this stuff don't work like it's supposed to. Nope. It ain't gonna work, y'all. Oh well. Forget it. Let's just continue with what I got going on. Wait, hold up. I know. That might be the reason why. Nope. All right, let's remove from studio. Move from studio. All right, so let's continue. All right, let's see. Next tab. Man, I gotta figure out all this technical difficulties crap, man. That stuff just be tripping me out. Man, be tripping me out. Let's see. Supposed to play the stuff automatically, but I don't know why I did. All right, next tab. It says among the ancient philosophers, there was no superstition or doctrine more universal than that of the microcosm. Though it is now nearly lost, the fragments of it lie scattered around in the greatest abundance. We occasionally express our wonder at them, but we never think of inquiring into their cause or object. I must try, whether I cannot, for a little time, arrest their progress towards oblivion. It says the microcosm is most intimately connected with the Kabbalistic doctrines of the Trinity and of the emanations. It is seen everywhere when one attention is drawn to it. The most ancient author, I believe, who has treated of it is Plato. And he has named it one only once to my knowledge, and that it is in his Timaeus. Now, Timaeus is also the description. Why does it say that? Timaeus is the description of Atlantis. Your browser has blocked your screen. You are alive. You are alive. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know why it does that, man. But it's all good. It says, yeah, people saying they still can see me. I don't know what is tripping, man. It's true. It says your browser blocked your screen. I don't know what it's doing. But okay, so that, like I said, among the ancient philosophers, there was a superstition of doctrine more universal than that of microcosm. And it's interesting because, like I said, it goes in, it talks about Timaeus. What Timaeus is also where we get yeah, the Matrix is messing with me, man. They try to shut me down because I'm sharing this knowledge, man. They like, this dude getting into, because Godfrey Jenkins is actually, from what I understand, he was a 33rd degree Mason. That's the highest level of a Mason can possibly be. I also have a book from Alan Pike, I think that's his name. He who also is a Mason that I'll be going over. His book is, I believe, called Dogma. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but Alan, I could be mistaken on the name. But I will be doing it. Like, I have books from Masons that actually share stuff. So when people say the Masons are hiding stuff, I'm like, yo, do you read? Like, yo, do you read? These motherfuckers are claiming y'all ignorant because y'all too lazy to pick up these books. Y'all rather go motherfucking watch New Jersey Shoreline or some goddamn documentary on TV and some shit where people are copying and pasting when these people are literally writing and stuff. And it's just crazy because I get really shocked about the information that I read, and then sharing it on top of that is like, yo, it's crazy. Let's go to the next one. In all the speculations in which I have indulged, my reader must have observed that I have confined myself strictly to describing the doctrines or opinions of others, carefully retaining my own, but I cannot here resist the opportunity of observing in what an extraordinary manner the probability of the truth of the ancient doctrine of the microcosm is supported by the discovery of modern physiologists, that when the seed of any animated being is examined in its developmentist development. It seems to have the full, complete form of the parent, and the generation is at last by excretion. It's crazy. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Let me go to this one. Is in. It's like I have to read it because it's really small print. It says Colonel Wilford says it is to be observed that in general, the Hindus believe that all living beings originate from a stone like germ, endued virtually with life, but inert till placed in a proper medium when it becomes actually a punctum Eulinus, I don't know how to say it, or an embryo, and I can't spell it because it's very, very small. But basically, it's called an embryo. That's no different than bacteria or atoms or any of that other stuff. Look, this is just what he says. He says in 1833, Colonel Wilford says it is to be observed that in general, the Hindus believe that all living beings originate from an atom-like germ. Atom-like germ. 1833. They didn't have the science that we have. Matter of fact, let me do something real quick. When was the atom first initially founded? Okay, let me go ahead and share this because I like to bring facts to the table. Let's move the screen over here so I can see what I'm doing. So it says right here, I don't know how accurate it is, but you can prove me wrong if you want to. It says the concept of the atom was originally conceived by the Greek philosopher Lupicus during the early part of the 5th century BCE. Although it is also sometimes accredited to his pupil Democritus, the concept of the atom Western scientists accepted in broad outline from the 1600s until about 1900 originated with the Greek philosophers in the 5th century BC. So we've been known about atoms. We've been known. Let's see. Of an atom. Let's see. Boom. When was it first? Let's do this. Picture. The most detailed look at the highest resolution. The highest resolution image of atoms has been captured, doubling the resolution of an image made in 2018. By using algorithm to reduce blurring. So they don't actually have a full-fledged, absolute, detailed motherfucking I can look at you type shit picture. But they love that AI shit. Y'all think AI just been fucking around with us, man? They've been messing with us since the beginning. Y'all just don't know. Some of y'all know. I shouldn't say that. These were as follows. Shaphat, the youngest, had 12. Ham, the second, had 24. And Shem, the eldest, had 36. This induces me to return an observation in volume 1, page 474, where I ridicule Sir W. Jones' division of the language of the world into 3, those of Shem, Ham, and Shaphat. I now think it right to observe that it does not seem unlikely when the world came to be divided into 3 sovereignties that the universal language should, in its grammatical forms, have run into 3 dialects, which would show themselves in a marked manner. On this point, therefore, I may have been under a mistake. Now, I love it when somebody says that. Let me say that again. He wrote in this book, man. This is why I say when you give it knowledge and you learn something, you say these type of things. A lot of people don't say this shit because they're too busy trying to make that money to be right instead of just saying, man, I fucked up. But let's say it again. On this point, therefore, I may have been under a mistake. Man, I can't tell you how many times I've been under a mistake, and that's why I only share what I share. This chest is divisible into 10 parts, each of which constitutes a foot, and into 4 parts, each of which constitutes a cubit. That each cubit is 2.5 feet, and the whole chest or sarcophagus is 10 feet or 4 cubits or the little stadium. Then it goes on to say, and the side of the base of the pyramid is 400 nilometer cubits or 1,000 feet, which make the great Egyptian stadium. I was called Egyptian stadium, y'all. Egyptian stadium. Boy, I'm making some people mad. The 10 feet, the length of the chest, the little Egyptian stadium, or the Hebrew fathom, is the measure by which the Parthenon at Athens, the temple of Isis, and the temple at Jerusalem were built, in which was a measure anciently used by the Romans in their temples. This foot of the ancient is, I believe, with Mr. Gab correctly, represented in our inches by 8.7552 inches. And in our feet by 0.296, and 2 such feet by 1 foot, 5.5104 inches. The foot used by Archimedes and the Syracusans was probably the same at side in the not from where the French took it at. Wow, that's interesting. I don't know why I marked that. Let's go to the next tab. I only got a couple of tabs left. All right, let's see. I have no doubt that this was a cross in a circle, that is a circle divided into 4. The Roman territory was called Ager Romanus, and at first, as we might expect it, was divided like the globe. 1833, they said the globe. 1833, they said the globe. 1833, they said the globe. Flat Earth, man, y'all mad as hell right now, ain't y'all? Flat Earth. I can argue about that. I don't have no argument, but I can argue it on both sides because I have enough information. Like I said, if you read Ptolemy's Almagest, you know what I'm talking about. But let's keep it going. Oh man. Oh man. Let's see. The two doctrines in common terms may be defined that matter and spirit of materialism and immaterialism, called also atheism and deism. Ooh, that's interesting. So atheism. So let me read that again. The two doctrines. Let's go back to the top. See what it says. Hold on. Let me go to the paragraph. Oh no, that's okay. I can start right here. The word Nyaya. I think it's spelled Nyaya. Nyaya. There we go. Nyaya was the opposite of this, and in its formation, almost English. Okay, let's see. Let me see. I'm trying to find out where to start at. Okay, so yeah, let me just start right here. I think in the Mahabharata war, the Buddhists were followers of the Nyaya and the Brahmins of the Vedanta, but the two sects in later times, after the whole, became merely a matter of the idle speculation of philosophy. I think I'm just trying to find a correlation bit by Nyaya and all that. Let me see. I actually found something right here that's interesting. Of course, as usual, and after the manner of the Greeks formerly complained by Plato, Sanskrit scholars go to the Sanskrit for etymology. Everybody knows who knows me, knows what I like. Of the Greeks formerly complained by Plato. Let's see, etymology, and they make of Nyaya I to go with the prefix I into inference, argument, reasoning, logic, and Vedanta. Okay, so that's more correlation. So that's most people want to understand that if you read that whole chapter. So I'm not even going to get into it. The same observations will apply to Sanskrit. The onion. I don't know what. Let me see. Let me go back to one and see where that talks about, because that's pretty interesting. Why did I mark that? Oh, it's also okay, here we go. Mr. Christie has observed a passage of Diodorus, book 1, chapter 1, which seems to refer to the first numerical symbols. Okay, yeah, I'm not even going to argue with that, because numerical could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we're not even going to go there. Okay, so this is the conclusion of his book. He says in volume 1, page 824 and 25, And super page 130 and 131, I spoke of what is called the eclectic philosophy. This I suspected was really the original Christianity. I shall now return to the subject. About the time of the Caesars, we find that the mysterious secrets of innocent Greek beginning to creep out, to escape the crypts, and to show themselves to the world in various ways. We see this very particularly marked in a general expectation of the world, that some great one was to come after a certain time, when the period of that new age was certainly past, as it appears from the passage in Juvenal to have been well known to be a belief, gradually arose that the great one, and it's in Greek, the Savior, which probably talking about Jesus, had appeared. The first effect of this was to produce a feverish state of the public mind, and rendered worse by the utter contempt into which the corrupt state of the heathens' religion had fallen. In next effect wars to produce a great number of sects of what were called Christians, each inquiring if the great one had come. Some thoughts that Herod, others believed that Caesar might be the person. Okay. Indeed, it is well known that each of these was believed to be the person by vast numbers of devotees. Soon after this time, the destruction of Jerusalem, of its records, and everything which could give certainty to a report having taken taking place, the popular voice fixed upon an individual who was said to have lived and taught there, and to whom was applied that the part of the mythic mythos relating to the crucifixion of resurrection. And then it was found for the first time by the Paulites that this Savior was to be a spiritual, not a temporal Messiah. It is important and impossible on reading the works of Plato and perhaps of every one of the ancient philosophers not to mark the nonsense with which their writings appear to be abound. All this arises from their wish to keep the doctrine secret, and is well described by a passage in the Encyclopedia Britannica in VOC Platonism. Speaking of Plato, the author says, after having said that he meant to wrap up his meanings in such obscurity as then adept and only fully comprehend it, he adds expressions to the following import: the Lord of nature surrounded on all sides by his works, whatever it exists by his permission, he is the fountain and source of excellence. Around the second person are placed things of the second order, and around those of the third degree. And then it's written in Greek. And then it says, of course, of this obscure passage, a very satisfactory explanation is given by Dr. Ogilvy. For want of attention to this principle, all translators have endowed to make these mystical works of the ancients to read into sense and to find out from the literal meaning a system which is evident their authors never intended to teach. Plato was an author. He was never intended to teach. I don't know how you take that from that, but just let's go to the last tab. You know, I tell people all the time, I've been giving Jimmy Corsetti so much information about what Plato says in these ancient people and what they actually said in the words and the meanings and the definitions and the origins and all this other stuff. All they got to do is just take it. They can be the breadwinner. I don't give a fuck about the notoriety. Just take what I say and just use it. Take what I said and abuse it. Do what you got to do with it. Because at the end of the day, when people are looking for the origins of the person who said it, they're going to find me one way or another. So you can give credit or you can't, but I'm telling you, I'm reading the shit that gives you the information that you need. I'll now conclude with a simple statement of what is, as it appears to me, an unprejudiced, dispassionate inquiry after truth may reasonably believe respecting Jesus and his doctrines. If any learned and liberal-minded priest shall think that I have mistaken any fact or erred in the conduct of any argument or in any conclusion which I may have drawn, I shall be extremely happy to receive this correction. That's the motherfucking end right there. That's what Godfrey Higgins said. Y'all take it easy. Peace out, y'all.